Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Martin Crabtree from the library. We're going to talk about some added informational things and such. Also, just to give a quick shout out to the course instructors that are there. I don't always see all the questions and such as they kind of come up. So if somebody has a question or whatever, please feel free to interrupt me so we can answer the question while it's kind of fresh in everybody's mind. So we're going to talk about finding information some more, kind of part two, added sources and things. Firstly, I just want to talk about your topics a little bit. All three instructors that are represented today have supplied me with some of the research that you're all working on. Just want to spend a moment kind of thinking about each person's research a little bit. So, kind of give you some thoughts, my kind of initial impressions and such on where we're headed. I want to talk about the library catalog, the tool we use to find traditional library resources, books, physical things in the college library. Also want to talk about ebooks. So we'll be talking about both of those things as we work our way through things. And also just want to touch on computer searching again for a moment, just kind of refresh everybody, remind them of a few things that were from the first webinar. Make sure we're all kind of on the same page there. Anybody that didn't catch that first webinar yet, hopefully I'll bring up the speed a little bit. And then we'll also talk about using the web for finding information as well. The web is a great source for finding information, but it's a very different source of information. And really, if you think about it, the rules change a little bit. We'll talk about some of those things when you choose to kind of step over that imaginary red line that takes us out to the World Wide Web and want to kind of get thinking about some of the things that happen, the things that you need to think of when you kind of in your mind say, I'm going to go to Google and look for you have to do some added things. Firstly, just as I kind of reiterated from the last time, effective research really starts with thinking about your topic first, not throwing a word into a box and crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. So I want to get thinking about topics, and first, kind of Professor Voigtman's corner of things. I know she has a couple of classes that are at different stages of the research, different topics, but everything kind of includes this concept of the hero journey, Joseph Campbell's concept and things. So again, considering that for those that, it makes more sense, this aspect of an outsider in things being one of the people to think about and such, as far as, an immigrant, these other people that, are acting as a hero and things like that. One of the prompts talks about the concept of dictators and writers kind of bumping heads with each other. Salman Rushdie's mentioned, and I think of, when I think of dissident writers, a term that you may wish to consider using, the Ayatollah Khomeini and Salman Rushdie and some of the headbutting that happened between that leader and that person, that writer and such, is one example. There are many, many out there of writers that have kind of run afoul or bumped heads against people who are in power and such. Rafael Trujillo and the Dominican Republic, again, looking at that aspect of things, there's some other terms to think about. And also when you're thinking about the concept of hero, also the term heroism kind of comes to mind and also seems to show up. Sometimes they don't say, hero per se, but talk about more of this concept of heroism. So again, that's something to consider. When thinking about Professor Morse's topics and such, some things to consider, some things to think about. I think about self-identity, also personal identity, individual identity. All these terms are kind of used, and again, the keywords you use. You have to do a little experimenting and try different ones. Each one, will give you some different results. Sometimes it overlaps, sometimes greatly, sometimes not so much. And really, research is kind of this, zigzaggy path moving forward. So having extra terms that kind of, you can use as keywords can be helpful as well. Also, when thinking about homelessness, another term rather than just homeless, to use in the American culture, sometimes they don't talk about American culture, but talk about the United States. America often refers to the United States, but sometimes it's a broader term talking about a lot of the places in this hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere. So sometimes, United States, sometimes getting more specific locations and things, homelessness in Chicago or something like that may give you some added things or and such. So if, you include, say, United States in your keyword searches, you may be excluding things that talk about specific locations or things like that because they never say United States in the article and such. Also, this concept of society, again, you may want to look at it broadly or narrowly, maybe include United States, American, things like that may help as well. And again, thinking about American society, Dr. Tabor's prompts kind of touching the same concept. Again, you know, the prompt talks about American society, again, United States and society, things like that may be things to look at. Also kind of looking at it from the other side, looking at other societies and how they mirror the society in the United States or how they contrast with what's going on in the U.S. Again, can be some you know, avenues to consider. Thinking about nonconformists, movements, and things like that. The term counterculture kind of shows up sometimes, particularly if you're looking at the things from the 60s and such. So again, another term to think about. And when you're looking about, you know, nonconformists, that term lends itself to many, many different terms. A few came to mind: rebel, outsider, renegade, dissident, free thinker. Again, each of these terms will give you different, you know, kind of views of the information, different nuanced kind of ways of looking at it. You may want to consider trying some of these different terms and not just kind of put the blinders on and think about nothing but I got to use nonconformist. That's what Dr. Tabor wrote on the paper, on the assignment and such. So some things to think about with your varying topics. Now, books, traditional resources that we have in the library. The physical resources are certainly available to you, even though you're taking an online course. If you can get to our library, again, you know, online courses, you may be not necessarily located, you know, close to our library, but if you are, we do have resources available for you as well. At the college library's homepage, we have our online catalog. It's the tool we use to find those physical things, and it's a shared catalog. We share it with the Mercer County Public Library System. So you'll find that things are not only here in our library, but maybe elsewhere in the county library also. When I talk about Mercer County Public Libraries, I'm talking about many, but not all in the county. 4 communities: Pennington, Princeton, Hamilton, Trenton, are not part of the countywide system. So if you want to see what those communities have and such, you'll have to follow their borrowing procedures and such, and all to see what they have and borrow things from there. But things in the countywide system are available for our students to use. You can ask to have them brought here to the college. You don't have to go out and run around the county to pick these things up. We'll kind of show you the process real quickly in a moment. Tuesdays and Fridays when we swap things around between the county and the college, and we'll contact you, let you know when things are here. Usually kind of midday, maybe around 11, 12 o'clock, somewhere in that ballpark. Usually before noon, we'll get things in. Our catalog also has ebooks built into it. So you'll find that sometimes the books are not physically anywhere. They're just a click away. And again, when we step into the catalog, we'll show you some of those aspects as well. Your ID card, your student ID card is your library card, so please have it with you when you come to the library. If you actually wish to borrow a book and such, you'll need to have that in order to get to the, in order to actually borrow the books and such. To get to the library's catalog, right above the online databases, which we had used last time, clicking on that will take you to our catalog and such. And I'm going to step out real quickly, show you the basics of the catalog and such. We have the catalog here, right here, the link that'll take us to the catalog. And there we go. Let's make sure everybody's, yeah, I seem to have a, why am I having a problem? Take me out. There we go. Please move this window. Okay, hopefully everybody's still seeing my screen, my online screen. I'm getting a message on my screen that may be a problem. If there is, let me know. But catalog, clicking on that will take us to the catalog here. Again, I got a search field. I can search. You can search by traditional sorts of things: subject, author, titles, and such. The all fields kind of a keyword search and such. And using one of the, I'll put in homelessness as a search term, and I'll get the results up on the screen. Initially, I'll get things from the county library as well as the college's library on the results. Now, when we think about the college Library, we're kind of geared for academic research and things like that. That's what our collection focuses on. Public libraries, they service a large swath of the publication, everything from children to senior citizens. Consequently, the results in the in the screen we have right now for the county libraries include things for young people and such, not the level of information you need for your research here at the college. Off to the left-hand side are a number of options for us to work with, and usually if I'm doing a big search like this, first thing I'll go to here, item category. We have adult materials, juvenile, and young adult materials. I can check the box. Hello?
Martin, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing the actual searching. I'm only seeing the screen where it said, let's take a look at the catalog. I don't know if everyone else.
Okay, yeah, that's, I'm getting a message.
Yeah, I just have, let's take a look at the catalog, and we're just there.
Okay, let's see if I can get everybody out here. Please move this window away. No, unpause it.
I didn't know if it was just me. I thought maybe it was my computer.
And when I try to share it, it's taking me back to come on, share everything. Do we have it now? It looks like, okay,
Yep.
You're seeing it now? Okay,
Yep,
good.
seeing it now.
Yeah, I don't know what Zoom's up to. It's doing something a little bit odd. I had to update the program when I entered. But anyway, again, let me throw in homelessness real quickly again. And what I was talking about off to the side here are a number of options for us to work with. The adult materials, I can click on it. I can check the box and say include. Since it's only one thing, I'll just click on adult materials. This way I'll get the things that are geared for, you know, adults in my results. From here, I can kind of work my way down the list and see what might work for me. Here, homelessness, a source book, sounds promising. I can click on the title. It'll bring up a pop-up window and will give me added information about this book. This book's in the Lawrenceville branch of the public library. It's not at the college. One copy's in reference. That's one you can't borrow, but the other one, adult nonfiction, that's what we can have and have brought to the library if we wish. In this case, we do get a summary, find out a little bit more about the book, a couple of reviews, tell me, again, more about the book. Is it a great book, a lousy book, whatever. And availability, again, shows me where things are. Selecting an action here, placing a hold will actually allow me to bring this into the college. And you need two pieces of information. The first is your barcode number. That's on the back of your student ID card. And your PIN is the last four numbers of your home phone number. Whatever is on record at the college as your home phone number. If you're having problems accessing this, you're not sure what number you use when you registered at the college 3 years ago or whatever, contact the library. We can look you up and tell you what you should be using, or if you come into the library, we'll scan the barcode on your ID card and it'll show it to us real quickly. We can change it quickly and easily. It's not a big deal. But once I log in, I'll be asked one added question. And do I want to pick this up here at West Windsor or down to the James Kearney campus in Trenton? If I were to click on place a hold, it would send out a request to Lawrenceville to have it sent here. I'm not actually going to do that. I don't want to actually place the hold right now. I may want to see what's just here at the college and nothing but, and I can do that down here under library. If I go for more and expand the list, we are Mercer County Community College at West Windsor. We are not the West Windsor branch. Consequently, if I again click on this, it'll bring up just things here at our library at the college. Again, homelessness, opposing viewpoints, a physical book. If I click on the title, again, I can find out more about it. And here's the shelf number. And I just need to jot that down to remember that it's where to find it on our shelves. We do not use the Dewey Decimal System. We use something called Library of Congress system. Virtually every college and university in the country uses this system for shelving books. So you'll need to jot that down or remember it if you can. I usually have to jot them down to find it on the shelf itself. Also, our ebooks, for example, International Perspectives on Homelessness. There's a hot link here. There's a mention. It's only for current MCCC students. The online resources we cannot share with the county library, but they're still in our catalog. So we have this note here so that people from the county know that they cannot access it. But clicking on this will step you out into ebooks. I'm going to talk about the ebooks separately in a few moments. So that's a little bit about our catalog. Now, I'm betting I'm not getting back to my...
Still in catalog.
Yep, there seems to be a... No, I don't want to go there. Okay, I'm going to have to... There we go. It's going to be a little clunky getting in and out of the PowerPoint, but it should come up in just a moment if you haven't gotten there yet. Just want to go over computer stuff for just a moment. Again, the keywords, what you put into the box, the computer's a dumb system. It matches up strings of words. So think about the keywords. Talked a little bit about some, thinking about the topics before. And, not, or to connect things together to better define what you want, the quotation marks and such, and allow those first few hits to help you out. It can be very helpful when you're first starting out to give you some added direction and things as to where you may want to go with your research and such. Now, I want to talk about ebooks, and our ebook collections are in the catalog, but you may search them separately. We have two collections. One's called eBury, the other's called EBSCO eBooks. Both will, work well for you. I'm going to focus on eBury, though. It's the larger of the two collections and the one that's used more heavily here at the college. So I'll kind of focus on eBury a little bit more. You use your web browser to access eBury just like you would any other website or database. It's kind of database-like when you're searching. The ebooks you find, you may download them to your device. If you choose to download them, you'll need something called Adobe Digital Editions to actually make that happen. It's a freebie download program and such. It doesn't, it's not a big deal, but it does need to be there in order to actually make the download happen. When you download something, you download it to one single device. So if I downloaded it to my desktop here where I am right now, I could only use this computer to access it. I couldn't go to, say, my home computer or my home laptop and pull it up there. It's only on the one device. The book is kind of kept on that device for 14 days. A few are 7 days, most are 14, and then it's automatically returned to the library for you. You can always download it again if you wish. You can download a portion of a book in the PDF format, and this is something that you put on a flash drive, whatever. You can take it wherever you want, wherever you want. It's not locked to that one device. It's kind of a permanent file you get to keep. You're limited to the portion of the book that you keep. 40 to 60 pages kind of is a rough average. It depends on the agreements between the publisher, author, and the size of the book that'll actually allow you to do things. I'm going to step out into eBury, and I believe I'm going to need to do it this way in order to make it happen. And you should be seeing me back out on the internet right now. Off to the side here, eBury, EBSCO eBooks. Here are the two links. I'm going to step into eBury. And again, I have a search screen here. I can do, put in some search terms. Again, I mentioned Salman Rushdie and the Ayatollah Khomeini. I'll put their names in for a search. And I get my results on the screen here. I can work my way down the list. I also have some subjects here. If there's some subjects that look particularly important, I can check those off and include them in my search, narrow myself down a little bit. The title here, Mirror of Our Times, The Rushdie Affair and the Future of Multiculturalism. Title sounds promising. I can click on the title and step into this book. I get some basic information on this page about the author and things like that. Also, I get the different sections and such of the book. I encourage you, rather than just downloading it right here, read it online first, just like in a physical library. You kind of want to thumb through the book and see if it's something worthwhile or not. Clicking on the link here will allow me to look at the book, and I can kind of work my way down page by page. And it's just like an actual scan of the book and such. I get all the pages and such, and I'm going a little bit fast for the computer to keep up. We get the title page and all those sorts of things included. Up here are some links and such that will help you out. If you wish to download the book, you can. the citation. Here's where you get the citation for the book. And one thing about eBury, 7th, 8th edition MLA, there's a new edition of MLA. eBury hasn't gotten there yet. So they're still using the older format with the word web there. I'm not sure when they're going to be updating things, but we have to, that's what we have right now. But again, here's the citation if I need it. One thing about eBury citations, they do not italicize the title of books. You're going to have to manually make that change happen, so you have to deal with that. But otherwise, content generally okay for a 7th edition formatted citation. Check with your instructor whether they want you to actually convert it to an 8th edition format or not. We do have a link up here. We can kind of grab that if we need to do an 8th edition format for the citation. We can also search within the book. So say we were interested in the Ayatollah Khomeini in particular. Again, I can search within the book. The word is used 35 times within the book, and it gives me a graphic representation how often this shows up within the book. The larger the bar graph here, the more times it shows up. It shows up a lot in the first chapter, 3rd and 4th chapters, not so much. The drop down again will show me where it shows up. It shows up 4 times on this page here. I can click on that, and again, I can see the page here. They highlight my search term for me, and I can kind of work within the book here. Another aspect of the book is something called the bookshelf. Bookshelf can be very handy to use. You have to log in, though, in order to use the bookshelf. Just like you do our databases, I'm going to log in real quickly. Same process, same login screen. And once I'm logged in, the bookshelf's kind of turned on. There's a plus button here. I can add this book to my bookshelf. And it's kind of your own private spot to house some books. And if you find a good ebook and you're going to be using a lot, I put it on the bookshelf. That's how I kind of use it. I can go back to it quickly. I'll show you in just a moment. I can also, once I'm signed in and such, I can highlight passages. And I have kind of a virtual highlighter. I like this. I'm going to make it yellow. I can, do things in multiple colors. If I like to color code my highlighting, sometimes folks like to do that. Down here, I can make this blue and such. And since this is on the bookshelf, if I now click on my bookshelf, I can now see this book right here included in the other books I've set aside for myself. And from here, I can manage the book. The bookshelf is nice because then I can click on a different highlight from a different book. I go right in, takes me back to that other book. I go to my highlights, and I can, from here, kind of pick up where I left off. Actually, I use the highlighting as a bookmark. When I'm reading an online book in eBury, I just highlight the last, paragraph, last sentence or whatever. And then when I come back, I just click on that highlight, pick up where I left off and such. It's a convenient feature to have and to deal with. And I believe I got the problem solved with it dropping everything every time I move from place to place. You should be seeing my my PowerPoint here. So if you're not, let me know, but I think I'm good now.
Yeah, Martin, sorry to, yes, that problem is solved. The next problem is going to be in about 5 minutes.
We're going to get kicked out.
Yeah, semester. So we'll get kicked out, and then I'll just, I guess, go, open it up right again and.
Okay, yep, I'm seeing the warning as well. Okay, so I'll go, and once the time gets close, maybe I'll just pause so we don't get cut off in mid-sentence and things like that. Do want to talk about computer searching, database searching a little bit more. You're rarely going to find that perfect article when you're doing, database searching. The one article is going to write the whole paper for you. You'll find some good ones you use a lot, but you're really going to have to gather some pieces. Research is gathering pieces, rolling around up here, and then actually doing your writing. But you want to use that search tool, whatever it is. Web searching, like I showed you in the catalog, limiting it to just adult materials, the college library, things like that. Same thing with databases. We want to use it to its full potential. The advanced searches that can be really helpful for you within the databases, and sometimes it can be helpful even if you don't know what your final topic is. And I want to step out real quickly and kind of show you this. Get me out to the databases, and I'm going to go into academic into ProQuest Central. I like the interface for ProQuest Central when I'm doing this. And in this case, we'll go to Dr. Tabor's subject, and I'm going to look at nonconformists and society. I'm going to ask for full text articles, give me peer-reviewed scholarly journals, and execute my search. And I got my results up on the screen. I've got 5,000 and some odd things to work with. Again, in this case, off to the side, there are many things I can work with. Some of the things to talk about, source type. I asked for scholarly journals, the bulk are. There are a handful of things that kind of snuck in under the wire. Sometimes that'll happen. I can get rid of those if I go to more options here. I get a pop-up window, I can say exclude. And this is why I like ProQuest, their interface. They have an exclude. It's not just including. A lot of databases I can include all I want, but sometimes I know what I don't want more than what I want. So I can apply that. It'll throw out those handful of things that do not meet the kind of scholarly peer-reviewed journal criteria. I can deal with the date range. The earliest articles from 1879. You know, I'm looking at society, but I'm looking at society kind of sort of today, not society 130, 40 years ago. So again, I can use the slider and go up by decade, or I can enter a specific date range. Say, for example, I just want to look at everything from 2000 going forward. So I'll execute that this way. Again, I'm narrowing things down, focusing in even a little bit further. So now, again, I've fewer things in my results list. The other one I like to look at is document type. I'm looking at scholarly journals. Particularly when I'm looking at scholarly journals, going to more options, I want to throw out the reviews. These are generally book reviews, film reviews, things like that. They're going to tell me about other sources of information. I'm here looking for information right now. I want articles on the screen I can use. I don't want to have to then go find a book. So let me throw that out of the way. Sometimes commentary, editorials will show up sometimes as well. Opinion type pieces, depending on your topic, you may want to throw those out. In this case, I'm not going to bother. Sometimes, you know, I really need facts, and what somebody thinks is not what I need. So I'll apply that as well. Jackie, I see that we have less than a minute to go. I want to leave this search up on the screen and allow us to kind of step out and step back in while we're still live and don't get kicked off. So why don't we kind of pull out of this? We'll let you open up a new
Okay, sounds good.
A new Zoom, and we'll get started that way.
Yes.
Okay.
So in just a moment, I'll pull up a new. I'll log back in, and the meeting will resume.
So do we all stay here, or do we?
Well, we're all going to get booted out. We're going
Okay, then we just
in.
we all have to go back and re-click and come back in.
Yep.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's the case.
All right. See you in a second.
Okay.
Yep.